He doesn't know if he's going to put life in prison. And they're not answering his calls because they think it's funny. And bro, like when I was there, that was the treatment that the guy got.
All right, let's get right into it, fellas. Let's start with the moment of the week. So here's the setup, ladies and gentlemen. We're on AEW. At Revolution, it was a 6-man tag team match. It was Sting, Darby Allin, and Sammy Guevara against the AHFO members. Who was it? Matt Hardy, Andrade El Idolo, and I believe Isaiah Cassidy. All right. So the heels lost. They have a meeting. They have a live meeting. Do they give a vote of confidence to Matt Hardy to stay as one of the executives of the AHFO, or do they give him a thumbs down? All right. So Isaiah and Mark are in the back of Matt Hardy, and Matt Hardy says they're my kids. They got my back. They have their thumbs up, and they pull a old school Evolution and switch it to thumbs down. And so Matt Hardy gets attacked. I'm pretty sure that everybody at this point knew what was going on. So guess what happens? Sting and Darby Allin comes out to try to even it out, and they get double teamed, and outnumbered by the ASFO. And then, of course, we know what's going to happen. The Hardy Boys music come out, and instead of running to the ring to save his brother, he does the whole deal and say, "Oh, let me get my stuff in first before I go help my brother who's getting beat up." Ladies and gentlemen, Vince Russo, what do you think about Jeff Hardy's AEW debut, bro?
Bro, I got to be honest with you. I love both those guys, no question about it. But, Chris, I just felt it was very anticlimactic. I really did. And, bro, here's the problem I have with that. I know he had a 90-day non-compete. And I know there was a day, we know the date when he's available. I am a firm believer in setting the table. So if you know you're going to sign Jeff, but you can't get him until 90 days, bro, that means you got 3 months to tell a hell of a story. Yeah. This just seemed like, okay, bro, he's available today. Let's just get him out there. And, bro, to me, it was very anticlimactic and disappointing. And to me, that's not Jeff's fault. I really feel there could have been a much, much better build-up. That's my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, they weren't even they weren't even teasing any kind of babyface turn from Matt Hardy at all. And then all of a sudden, he gets a vote of confidence. He was the one, for some reason, who was up for the vote. And Paige, do you think that this was a good way to bring in Jeff, or do you think there was some holes in the debut?
I completely agree with Vince. It's like the Hardys, man. These guys have they're 20 years. They're 20-year guys, man, and they've been pretty much not on the top all the time, but most of it, they're right up there in what I'll call the bottom of the top. Like they lived there for the whole time because of all the stuff that they did with Edge and Christian and the Dudleys. I mean, those guys were made. And anytime that Jeff's going to come back and be reunited, whether it's in Impact or it's back in the WWE or now for the first time coming in, and it really wasn't even teased. I saw Jeff talking to somebody on a thing somewhere on the internet. He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to AEW."
Yeah, it was a Q&A. Yeah.
I saw that. I was like, okay. But then again, that could have been a swerve. That could have been a swerve. No matter what, to me, wasted moment, man. Because the Pop, if you're going to have him come out and do the thing he does, he Enigma, make that different. I don't know. Let me call out let me call out my partner. You know, give him, if he's going to do that entrance, give him that pop and give some kind of build to it.
Yeah.
Anything that's hot. And there's been a lot of things that have been hot shot on both sides of the, of the creek. And sometimes, to me, it's always the story. And when I dropped the NWO, it took 10 weeks. It took 10 weeks.
Yeah.
That was because they didn't want me to see me drop them, and eventually it happened. And I was so frustrated by the time it happened. It was the best thing that ever happened to me, though. Sometimes things that look like happened to you could be the best. But no matter what, Jeff Hardy he's an icon. Mm-hmm. Nobody has ever worked the way Jeff has for as long as he has.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I was there in Orlando at WrestleMania 33 when the Hardys came back, to the WWE. They both were gone, and they were doing their TNA thing, and they were traveling around winning. Say that again?
I literally, I can't remember what, I was there for something. I don't remember why. Maybe it was the Hall of Fame thing. I don't remember what the hell it was. I think it was the Hall of Fame thing. And when I saw them in the Gorilla booth, because, Vince brings out all the Hall of Famers, and then, you get your wave, and you walk in. And when I saw those guys, I just ran over and hugged them. And I was like, oh, this is great. You guys are going to pop this place crazy. That's an end.
Yeah.
That's an end.
I agree. I agree because they, it was so good because, a lot of people were like, no, there's no way that the Hardy Boys, come back to the WWE. And then they were scheduling like a bunch of events and things like that. And I think just like a couple hours beforehand, they had like a little, event, that they were hosting. And so there was a lot of reasons no, there's no way, because they had to zip through there and end the event at this time and hurry up and slide in there. It was so many reasons that would cause, that would kind of suspend that disbelief and just kind of cause so many questions to be asked. No, there's no way of them coming in that quick, and they'll have to zoom across town. And then it's crazy because I was there doing media, and when the New Day came out and people thought that they were going to be the team, and then they were like, no, there's another team. When that music came out, that had to be one, and I've watched every single WrestleMania. That was one of the biggest WrestleMania pops I've ever seen in my life. And being there too, if there was a roof, it would have exploded because that pop was thunderous in there.
Whenever you don't see it coming,
yes,
made the RKO, the Diamond.
Yep.
The Stone Cold Stunner, when you didn't see it coming, and then you hit, wow, jump people out of their seats, and that's what the moment could have been. The moment could have been, So they dropped the ball there.
I agree. Good point. And I think I would have, if I would have booked it, I would have did a small, just little, based on even that segment right there. I would have tweaked it. I wouldn't have had Sting and Darby Allin come in and get beat up. They both were to the point that they got up on the apron and they were looking at the HFO. They were looking at them face to face. They should have just stayed on the apron. And then you have Jeff Hardy come in the middle, and then they all go in at the same time. I think that would have been much better, because it wouldn't have been so weird for Jeff Hardy to still come out and do his gimmick. It's like, my brother's getting beat up, but I still want to make sure that I'm still doing my gimmick as I come out. I was like,
That's Jeff. That's the Enigma, baby. How about the Stinger? How about the Stinger jumping off?
Yeah.
Flying through and going through those tables. Now, I know tables can help you, or tables can really screw you. One of the times it broke because not the whole table broke, just the wood, but that, what do they call that stuff? It sits on top, Formica.
Yeah.
And that Formica breaks, it cut thinly, 4 inches into his calf and 9 inches long. 10 inch, it was bad, man. When I saw him do that, I just text, "Are you okay, buddy?"
Yeah, there was a video. Yeah, there was a video that went out of someone who was actually right next to Sting before he jumped out in the crowd, and they were chanting him and everything. And there was a video that was this close to Sting, and it was able to see like the view of him jumping off onto, I think it was Andrade that took the bump. And man, it was so far down, and like the camera at the pay-per-view didn't do the bump justice. It really didn't, because seeing that view from Sting's viewpoint, man, that was a big and long fall, man.
I don't know here, but there's those things, that don't look too bad. And then you get up there and you look down, you go, whoa, that's deep. You know? And that's what I was feeling for Sting. And I'm thinking, throw the other guy off. Throw the guy off.
Right.
But he did it. He's so caught up. He's so caught up in the energy of those kids. And I pray to God, and he's a God-fearing man, so I know he prays to God every night before he walks out there. Yes.
You got to give it up to him, man. He's in a few weeks he'll be 63. He's 63 years old. Just in a few weeks, and it's like still jumping off. Doing 10 feet dives at 63. Man, you got to give it up to him. That just goes to show how much he really wants to put people over in AEW. His heart and soul's in it, man. I appreciate that.
And everybody there loves him, wants to work with him, wants to take a splash, wants to do this. They want to do it. When I was up there, everybody, I'll take the time cutter. Because they were like, oh God, I'd love to take a diamond cutter. It's like,
nice.
It's just fun to watch him, and I love that he's with my boy Darby. Because Darby, he does my shit all day long, man. He does my workouts, and he's trying to get Sting to do it. And I always tell him I see him, I go, I'm here when you're ready, boss.
Nice. All right, gentlemen, let's go going down memory lane. So the latest person announced to be a member of the 2002 WWE Hall of Fame is, if we're talking WCW days, early WCW days, big fan Vader. If we're talking WWE days, the man they call Vader, or the Mastodon, ladies and gentlemen, man, just a long overdue for me. Paige, what do you think, man? He's in the WWE now. His WWE run was not. It was underwhelming overall. I mean, he was a machine in the WCW, but underwhelming in the WWE. What do you think about Vader's WWE run?
I don't think that it was underwhelming under his control.
Yeah.
Not the way he would be booking himself.
True.
I kind of know what that feels like, when there's not a niche in the road for you. Sometimes it's just hard to make that row hoe,
Yeah.
But Leon was terror in WCW and terror in Japan. And today we're everything. We're the world, especially the If you're a WWE Hall of Famer, you could be from Mexico, friggin' South Orange, New Jersey, friggin' New Zealand. It don't matter, Were you a part of an elite group of guys? And he was. I'm a little bummed out, because I tried to help Leon when he was told, doctor tells me I got 2 years to live if I don't drop, 100 pounds and stop beating myself up. And I brought him into with his son, Jesse, who is a class act. And Jesse was going to be the one there helping his dad. but his dad wouldn't stop working. And pretty much everybody knew, like, 2 years, and he died 2 years later, man. And it would have been nice to see him go in a little earlier, because way earlier, so is what it is. They have a process, how they do things. Pull that together, but he deserves to be there, and I'm glad he is there.
Yeah. Vince, you can give us a backstage, point of view when it comes to working with Vader, because you were there when Vader was there. What were your thoughts on Vader? What did you see in him at that time, or what did you not see?
I got to tell you, Chris, these are the things, it's tough being negative when you're on with Positively Page. Okay? But this is one of the things I hate about the business, because now, okay, bro, Vader's dead. We're going to put him in the Hall of Fame. But, bro, when I was there, he was the butt end of everybody's joke. Mm-hmm. He was the guy always getting ribbed. I mean, bro, I'll never forget, and this is an absolute shoot, bro. Do you remember when he was in Kuwait and he got physical with that TV reporter? Yeah. Bro, they threw his butt in jail. Okay? I was at Vince's living room table working with Vince when he got the call from Vader. Bro, Vader was scared to death. Bro, he's in prison in Kuwait. Like, he has no idea. Like, he's scared to death. What do, bro? They're not accepting his phone calls, and they're laughing about it like it's a big joke. And I'm sitting there like, bro, I'm a regular guy. I'm not into the whole ribbing wrestling. I'm like, I could only imagine, bro, this guy is in a foreign country. He doesn't know if he's going to put life in prison. And they're not answering his calls because they think it's funny. And, bro, like, when I was there, that was the treatment that the guy got. And, because, again, bro, he just had that kind of a personality where, like, you believe it or not, bro, you could bully him. Because he was that much of a sweetheart of a guy. And, bro, it's just when they see somebody like that, they're going to take advantage of somebody like that. And that's why, me having witnessed that, and then I see the Hall of Fame induction, and I'm like, come on, man. Like, couldn't you have treated him that way when he was alive? You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. 100%, man.
It's just so bittersweet. It was like with China, bro. Like, bro, China's ultimate downfall was they wouldn't return her calls. Like, she just wanted to talk to somebody.
No, I get it.
Bro, I say it to this day, if they just would have spoke to her, she might still be here today. So, like, that's always such a hard pill for me to swallow, bro. It really, really is.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, he's, I agree with y'all. I think it should have been much earlier than we see now. Thankfully that he is in the Hall of Fame. There's only 2 people inducted in the Hall of Fame only 3 weeks before Mania. So, I mean, that's usually not how it goes. They usually start way before, but we'll see how it goes. All right, let's land the plane, fellas, with the low, bro. So last week, Paige, I told you, I said, Austin's coming back, baby. And so guess what? Kevin Owens, he calls out Steve Austin for the KO show. Steve Austin does a little less than a 2-minute promo. He rides down the mean streets of the mean roads of Texas in his buggy. He gets out and he cuts a promo. What? I don't care if it's a match. What? I don't care if it's the KO show. What? Paige, he's here. Do we see a match between Kevin Owens and Stone Cold? Is it a segment? What do they do with these 2 people at WrestleMania?
Wow. The only reason I did not see it at all, because I just know if you were someone like KO, you're a bumping machine. Because he ain't coming here to kick the ass of Steve Austin. That I'll promise you. Ain't gonna be long if it's a match. It might just be a segment, because KO is pretty funny. He can if they do the funny thing, and then at the end, friggin' Steve hands him a beer, kicks him in the stomach, and hits him with a stutter. Everybody's gonna be happy because that's all they want to see. They want to see KO take a very Rock stunner. Rock has taken some of the greatest stunners ever that are the most ridiculous, and KO's been looking for all those. If that's it, if that's the moment, I don't know. But in the big picture, I would love to see Steve out there. I think they would have in 2 days, trying to fill that whole building. You better have Stone Cold Steve Austin and maybe Undertaker coming up, back from the dead. He comes out and starts choke slamming guys. 202,000 people, man. So I don't. I still don't believe it's going to be a match.
Yeah.
Now, smoke and mirrors, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that too. And just, like you said, Rock was the king of overselling stunners. It was hilarious, I agree.
Boom.
Yeah, just flipping and flopping everywhere. Vince, so your theory over the past few weeks was somehow it's a red herring. We get Cody comes out, Austin comes out of the end and does his deal. Well, now it seems like there's going to, it's locked in. It's going to be Austin and Owens in some capacity. What do we see with this?
Bro, listen, come on. Stop with the some capacity. Bro, listen. Here's the mistake. I'm telling you, here's the mistake they're making. I'm telling you right now. The Owens challenge was for the KO show. That was the challenge. Austin saying, I don't care if it's a wrestling match, I don't care if it's bro, it's the bait and switch, and they're gonna piss people off. Because if Austin was gonna wrestle, and we're only a couple of weeks out from WrestleMania, then Austin is saying, "Screw the KO show, let's have a match." That's what he's saying. But when he's saying, I don't care if it's a match, they want people to believe it's gonna be a match. And I'm telling you, bro. If they lead people down that road and then it is a KO segment and he gets the stunner, bro, you're going to piss a lot of people off, man. And to me, that's exactly what they're doing. Tease it. People thinking he might wrestle. Holy crap, we got to see this. But then you're going to get a KO segment, a stunner, and you got to be careful with that stuff, bro. You got to really be careful, man.
I agree. I think unfortunately, I think it's going to be a little underwhelming. I think it's going to be people thinking it's going to, actually come out with his braces and his gear, but he's going to come out in some jeans and a t-shirt or something like that. And, it's going to be like, people are going to be like, oh, come on, man. But maybe we'll still see a match. Well, nope, it's going to be a KO show and then just a, stunner or something like that, and that's it.
Though, bro, like Paige said, I mean, the only thing is, bro, if they get a week out and they got a lot of tickets left to sell, and they just say, Steve, what'll it cost us? What will I could see that happening. But again, bro, the closer we get to the date, bro, you got to start promoting this, man.
For sure. Yeah. I wonder before we close up, I wonder if they're holding off to maybe have a tag and bring Cody in with Austin just to take, if he does do a match, they take a lot off of them by bringing someone like a Cody and having a tag with them. I think that could be an option too. We've talked about that
you're
before.
just running out of time, bro. That's
time's
against
absolutely.
you at this point, you know.
Absolutely, which is weird for WrestleMania.
Yeah.